New reports confirming last year's alleged chemical attack in Syria was likely staged and not carried out by Assad's government. One America's Jack Posobiec explains.
Now we're nearly 1 year away from the April 7th, 2018 alleged chemical attack in Douma, Syria. The U.S. government used this as a pretext to conduct a missile strike on Syrian military facilities and bases in Damascus. That evening, a One America News reporter was on the ground as the missiles fell. Days later, One America News reported the lack of evidence for the chemical attack and the strange circumstances regarding the incident. Following that, we interviewed activist Carla Ortiz, who told us the truth about the incident in East Ghouta. Now, a BBC reporter who investigated the incident himself on the ground has issued public statements saying that the, quote, Assad sarin attack on East Douma was indeed staged. Well-known BBC Syria producer Riyam Dalati is a longtime reporter from the Syrian civil war. His reports came as a shock to his 20,000 Twitter followers, and he's considered a global mainstream media reporter due to his station at BBC. He stated, "I can prove without a doubt that the Douma hospital scene was staged." The hospital scene of Douma was horrid footage played repeatedly and repeatedly on networks around the world, showing children in a Syrian hospital in Douma being hosed off and treated by doctors and white helmets personnel as victims of the alleged chemical attack. At the time, many made the point that personnel were not wearing protective covering or even gloves. The BBC producer concluded that no fatalities occurred in the hospital. He had interviewed numerous white helmets and opposition activists while investigating these claims. He followed up. Russia and at least one NATO country knew about what happened in the hospital. Documents were sent. However, no one really knows what happened at the flats apart from the activists manipulating the scene there. This is why Russia focused solely on discrediting the hospital scene. These activists are a reference to the white helmets, which One America News has reported as having ties to al-Qaeda-backed terrorist groups. His report continued, "I can tell you that Jaish al-Islam ruled Douma with an iron fist. They co-opted activists, doctors, and humanitarians with fear and intimidation. In fact, one of the 3 or 4 people filming the scene was Dr. Abu Bakr Hanan, a brute and shifty doctor affiliated with Jaish al-Islam. The narrative was that there weren't enough doctors, but here was one filming and not taking part of the rescue efforts. Keep the rest for later." The government of Russia is now demanding that the BBC produce the results of its investigation for Moscow to review and evaluate. According to a report in The Intercept, when it came to Douma, the Russians weren't the only ones who were skeptical, at least initially, that chemical weapons had been used. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a UK-based outfit that leans toward the opposition, but whose reporting network inside the country is usually seen as the most authoritative by the international media, noted that the day after the attack, people had died in Douma through suffocation, but couldn't say whether or not chemical weapons had been used. They also highlighted the fact that the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons investigation directly contradicted Washington's claims that sarin had been used. The report found no evidence of organophosphorus nerve agents like sarin, either at the site or in samples from casualties. As always, One America News is sticking with every story all the way till its end. I'm Jack Posobiec, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.